Action. Hello everyone, this is James at the Martial Archive. I have some good news and some bad news, and I'm going to tell a bit of a story. The Panna Rittikrai movie Born to Fight, original title Gerd Ma Looee, and that film is one of the reasons that I moved to Thailand. Here in my Panna box of action, when I saw the Tony Jaa film Ong Bak for the first time, like many people, I went quite mad, and it was and still is one of the best action films I've ever seen. Story-wise not so much, but for the action itself. And at that time I was doing business with some people in Thailand, buying Thai movie posters. So I got on the internet, talked to them, can you get me any more Tony Jaa movies? And they said, no, there aren't any more, which I now know is not true. I found the others. But I also asked, can you get me any Panna Rittikrai movies? And one person said, yes, I know a place that's got some. So I sent him some money, and he sent me 4 Panna Rittikrai films, including the VCD of Born to Fight, which had been re-released recently. Full screen, no subtitles, but cool action. And something that really surprised me in watching this film was that a lot of the stuff that's in Ong Bak that we were all going mad about, they'd already done some of it in this film. And I thought, well, from 1986 to 2002, whenever it was Ong Bak came out, there must have been other stuff in between that has cool action too. So when I was trying to think what to do in my life a few years later, I had an opportunity to move to Thailand, and I thought, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go, I'm going to see what other films I can find and try and document it. So, Born to Fight was one of the reasonings for coming here. Now, since then, Born to Fight was released on DVD in England and in America. This is the English DVD, a little bit dusty, they've been on the shelf for a long time. English DVD released by Rarescope, and American DVD released by BCI. Both full screen, though they do have subtitles this time, but still full screen. So, I was lucky enough, before he died, that I got to meet Panna a few times. I went to a number of his film premieres, and a friend of a friend knew him quite well, and I've been to his house a number of times. And I tried to ask him about the original prints of his films. And he doesn't speak much English, but he knew what I was asking him. And his answer was pretty much, he doesn't know what happened to them. So, Born to Fight in particular, I've been trying to find for a long time, because it's only ever been released full screen. There's never been a widescreen version that I know of. So I was also lucky enough to meet the people behind Pet Panna Films, who, well, they didn't make the film, he made it before he met Pet Panna. The guy in charge of Pet Panna, a man called Chok Chai, and Chok Chai met Panna after he made the film. Chok Chai had a background in advertising, and Panna met him and they talked, and he said, yeah, I know how to market your film. So they started Pet Panna Films, and then he was a producer and Panna made the films with him. Anyway, I asked him about the film as well, since he might know, and his answer was, it's in Hong Kong somewhere. Now back in these days, Thailand didn't have a film lab that could handle doing dailies and prints of the 35 negatives. So they would send everything over to Hong Kong and get stuff sent back. But often they didn't have the stuff sent back because it's an extra expense which you don't really need. So somewhere through the history, a 35mm negative of Born to Fight was sent to Hong Kong. They got something back, maybe print releases, dupes of the negative, and then they said, oh well, we don't need it back, and through the years just everything's gone. So I've been looking for a very, very long time for a 35mm print of Born to Fight. And last week I got a message from a guy I haven't spoken to for over a year. But a lot of people know what I'm interested in, and they know what I'm looking for, because I've spoken to them and I've said, if you ever get this, let me know. And this guy just suddenly announced, oh yeah, I got Born to Fight 35mm, do you want it? Yeah. So I met him the other day. Here's 3 reels. Here's the other 2 reels. This is the good news. Now, the bad news. This is original from when the film was released. You can see here, Gerd Ma Looee printed on the side. The bad news is, part of the film is missing. The other bad news is, part of it is damaged. But about a year ago, I saw on the internet someone put a clip of a 35mm print from Born to Fight. So I knew it exists somewhere. I don't know how this guy got it, but this might be the same one that the clip was from. And unfortunately, I've got to show you for comparison. This is what a real 35mm film usually looks like. It takes up the whole thing. I'm not sure what you call these metal things technically, but it should take up the whole space. Unfortunately, my reel 1 takes up that much space, meaning that this much of the start of the film is missing. Bad news. So, there is a possibility of doing a 35mm transfer someday, which will be proper widescreen. However, the start of the film has something missing. So at the moment, I'm asking everyone who I've ever met in Thailand if they have or know anyone who does have Born to Fight 35mm, which is not an easy thing to find. But if we can find another reel 1, then I can get the complete film and we can get it transferred. Until that happens, not much point. So if anyone out there in the world, anywhere, has Gerd Ma Looee, Born to Fight, 1986, Panna Rittikrai's first starring role, I'm looking for a reel 1. Can you help me? So anyway, I have most of it on 35mm, and I'm trying to find the rest. If it ever does happen that I can get the complete film together, there will be a release of some kind. For now, we just have to wait and see. Anyway, here's a comparison. You can see this is what's on the DVD, this is what's on the 35mm. You're missing about half of the picture. So I hope one day this will happen. For now, just wait and see. That's all for today. Have a nice day everyone. Bye for now. Please like and subscribe if you feel like it. Bye everyone.